Hi guys, we are going large today. Welcome to a next video of my resin space art fluids paintings. This time I was going to work on a 50 centimeter round canvas, and as you might have seen on my last video where I tried the smaller ones, which were 30 by 30 centimeters, and I did it with the art resin, I wanted to test some new stuff for this one. It is again a space scene, and I wanted to go for an exploding supernova again, which has a bit of a butterfly look from the explosion waves. This was the idea behind, and as I was not that happy seeing the canvas through last time, I decided to do a quick and small underpainting with acrylics. I used the very same colors that I'm going to use for the resin coloring as well, and just made the rough outlines of the idea that I had in my head on the canvas. Added some blues and purples and white and yellow and black in the surroundings, and just sprayed some white dots onto it to make it look like stars, which will be more or less in the background once the resin is applied to the canvas, so I wanted to give it a bit more of a depth. Also something cool I ordered are some night glowing pigments. Basically I wanted it to look like a cool space scene at daylight and an even more cool night glow effect space scene in the dark. So let's see how this comes out. Once the background was done, I went into mixing my resin. And for this project, as it is a larger one, I decided to try something new on the resin part as well. Last one was done with the art resin, which is a quite expensive one. So as I will need quite an amount of resin here, I decided to check something else and went to Amazon and checked for local resins. And I found the bestseller resin, which was only a quarter of the price of the art resin, and it has quite many good reviews, so I decided to go for it. I am pretty sure it has different abilities and stuff compared to the art resin because it's only a quarter of the price. But if it works for my resin artwork and it is stable and it does not do strange things, and most importantly is UV protected, which it is, so it will not yellow, this might be a good alternative to save some money and to make these a bit cheaper. So I went for it, I mixed my resin and poured it into smaller cups, added the color and stirred it around. First impression was that this resin is much thinner than the art resin, but the color itself intermixed quite well with the resin. I again used only a very little amount of color because I did not want to have the color create some strange effects within the resin, so it was quite a small amount of color. I added the night glow pigment as well, which made it feel a bit more sandy, but seemed to have no effect otherwise. Added some glitter to certain colors and went for it. When I applied the first coat of resin, which was a rather thin one, I realized that a canvas in this size might not be the best idea, because the resin started to flow into the middle. There was nothing I could change about at this point, so I lived with it and waited a bit until everything was in a way settled at the middle, added more color and used a straw to blow the color around to get the effect that I wanted to have. At this point I realized that my supernova explosion effect will not happen in this one again, but at least I got some nice, in a way, explosion nebula thingy effect, which was alright with me. As this was the first one in this size, I just tried to make the best out of it. So I added more and more small drops of colors, used my straw to push the colors around, and here as well on the most dark areas the colors stood out really well on top of the black and made really cool effects. Where the canvas was white, although underpainted, it was of course bright again, but it did not look as three-dimensional as I would have loved it to look, so it was a bit flatter than expected. I added some more black over the paint so that perhaps you get some like gaps within the nebula, which gave it a cool effect. But overall it looked kind of nice, and I was really thrilled how it might look in the dark. So once it was charged with sunlight, and for this one I put it outside once it was dry in direct sunlight and put it into a dark place, and it really looked awesome. It was glowing, it was nebula-like, I really liked it. The resin and the color itself made some strange things, so especially the blue and the black reacted a bit differently. The black was clumping together in small little dots, so as if the colors were separating from the resin. It was not that much with the other colors. The black itself went a bit gooey earlier than the other colors. Perhaps I used more black paint into the black to make it more opaque. I'm not sure. It did not affect anything while I was doing the artwork. I just realized that it settled much earlier than the rest of the color. For this experiment, large size, quite okay. Just let me know what you think of the result. Do you like it? Do you think I could have done better? And if you liked what I'm doing, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel to not miss out any videos. You can also click the bell button to not miss anything, and I would love to see you in my next videos. Have a great day. Bye bye.